You are the first human eyes to open on this world. You do not remember dreaming. 140 years folded into a single breath, and now your lids peel apart in the dim amber light of the lander, and you are awake, and you are here. Your body is stiff, cold as clay. Frost webs the inside of the viewport. You lift a hand that does not quite feel like yours and drag your palm across the glass, and the crystals smear into a wet arc, and through that arc a world pours in. A plain stretches to the horizon, green, black, and glistening, like forest and ocean poured together and left to cool. Above it hangs a swollen orange sun, larger and calmer than the one that made you, its light thick as honey across everything it touches. You whisper into the recorder clipped at your collar. Your voice cracks. You describe the color of the light. You describe the way the plane seems to breathe. You are cataloging, because cataloging is the only prayer you know. Then you turn from the glass, and you remember the others. The cradles behind you are silent. Frost on their seals too, but no motion beneath. The voyage was never meant to wake you all. Some were lost to the cold's slow damage. Some were never scheduled to rise. You knew the numbers before you slept. Knowing does not soften the quiet. You say their names aloud, one by one, into the recorder. It is the closest thing to a burial this world allows. Grief rises in you, sharp and real, and for a moment it fills the whole cabin. And then the light through the viewport shifts. A wind moves across the green-black plain, and the whole surface ripples like the flank of some enormous sleeping animal. And the grief is not gone, but it is flooded, drowned in a wonder so total you forget to breathe. You press your forehead to the cold glass. Through it, the plain ripples to the horizon. Framed by the arc, your palm cleared in the frost. No human has seen this. No human ever will. Not this exact first hour. Not with these exact undamaged eyes. Whatever you witness now belongs only to you, and can never be handed to another whole. Forehead still against the glass, you understand the shape of your life. You are the only pair of eyes this world has ever met. Every color, every shadow, must pass through you to reach humanity at all. But looking is not enough. Sight is not yet evidence. To make this real, you must open the hatch and step down into it. You stand at the top of the lander ramp. The hatch is open. Beyond it, a copper world waits. Behind you, sensors hum in racks of green light. Numbers scroll across the glass of your visor. Oxygen, pressure, 100 trace signatures you do not yet have names for. The air out there is breathable. The instruments say so. But no instrument has ever tasted it. That job is yours. Your gloved hands find the helmet seal. Your heartbeat fills the suit like a drum in a small room. You are afraid in a way you have never been afraid, and you are the only one who can be. You crack the seal one notch. A hiss. A thin thread of outside air slips in along your jaw. It is cold. It smells of wet stone and something green that has no earthly cousin. You breathe it once, shallow, ready to slam the seal shut. Nothing happens. Your lungs do not burn. Your throat does not close. You breathe again, deeper. The taste blooms across your tongue. Mineral, faintly sweet, edged with a metallic bitterness like a coin held underwater. You say it aloud for the record. Every word is data. You are the instrument now. You turn the seal another notch, then all the way. The helmet lifts. The full weight of an alien sky pours over your bare face. Wind moves your hair. A foreign sun, small and amber, presses warmth into your cheeks. You are breathing. You are the first lung of your species to fill itself with this world. Terror thins into something enormous and quiet. Your eyes sting, and it is not the air. You are, for this instant, welcomed. You belong. Then the visor flags a warning in your peripheral vision. Trace gases. Compounds your body cannot expel. Not enough to harm you today. Enough to accumulate, breath by breath, year by year. You read the numbers and understand what they mean. Every breath that keeps you alive also carries a small, patient toll. This air will never leave you now. It is in your blood. It is part of you already. You do not put the helmet back on. You stand a long moment, breathing a sky farther from home than any human has ever traveled. 140 years of sleep behind you, feeling it settle into you like a slow tide. VO, held on your bare face, turned up to the small amber sun, the visor warning flag still blinking at the edge of frame. If a world lets you breathe, does it welcome you? Or is breathing simply the first thing it takes? You do not have the answer. But the ground is close now, dark and strange beneath your boots. You lower yourself to one knee to find out what it holds. You kneel at the edge of a river that has never had a name. The water slides past, dark as wet slate, carrying no reflection you recognize. Your field station is 3 cases and a folding table, set up on gravel that crunches under your boots. This is the second question. After air, can this world be swallowed? You draw a liter through the filter. The cartridge strips the particulates, the microbes, the strange suspended cells too small to see. What comes out is clear. You hold the flask to the pale sun and see nothing floating. The gauges agree. Heavy metals below threshold. No dissolved toxins your kit can name. You wet your lip first. Just your lip. You wait. You count your own pulse against the numbers on your wrist. Nothing burns. Nothing swells. You take a real sip, then a real swallow, and the cold of it moves down your throat like a line drawn inside you. It is water. Real water once the filter has done its work. You log it 3 times to be sure you believe it. This is the reward you did not dare expect. The river, cleaned, is yours. You will not die of thirst on this world. You laugh once, alone, and the sound is startling. Then you turn to the plants. A leaf the color of old bruises. A fibrous pod. A bead of sap. You place a microgram on your tongue, no more, and you write down everything. The tingle, the bitterness, the way one sample raises a faint red wheel on the inside of your wrist within the hour. But the delight cools as you read your own instruments. On the field kit screen, 2 molecules bloom side by side, mirror images like a left hand pressed against a right. The sugars here spiral the wrong way. The proteins fold in reverse. You sketch the mirrored hands into your field book, one shape and its opposite. Your enzymes, evolved across 4 billion Earth years, cannot grip these molecules. This is chirality, the handedness of life. And this world's life is the wrong hand. So the pod that tastes almost sweet will pass through you without feeding you. The leaf that smells green is empty of everything your cells can use. Some samples do nothing. Some quietly harm. None nourish. Nourishment here is an illusion painted on the tongue. You understand, coldly now, what you have become. Not an explorer, a test animal. Your own body is the only ground truth this world will ever have, reporting one small dose at a time. You accept it, and the acceptance does not feel heroic. It feels like a door closing softly behind you. Thirst is solved. Hunger is not. You cap the flask, shoulder your pack, and walk toward the tree line, into the green-black forest, to meet whatever made all this. You walk into the forest without your gloves. You tell yourself it is only for an hour. You want to feel the ground the way it feels itself. The fronds rise above you like the ribs of some patient animal. Green-black, translucent at the edges, they turn slowly to face the low copper sun. Light drinkers. They do not photosynthesize the way any earth leaf does. They glow faintly where the light pools in them. You open your field book. You begin to draw. A stalk that breathes in pulses. A cluster of pale bells that ring with no sound, only a shiver of air you feel on your wrist. You name them as you go, because someone has to, and you are the only someone here. You call one the lantern moss, for the way it holds a cold blue coal in its center. You call another the tide fern, because it leans and returns on a rhythm that is not the wind. Nothing you name shares a single ancestor with you, not one molecule of shared inheritance. This is a whole tree of life grown from a different seed. Small things move in the litter, not insects, not anything with a name from home. Six-limbed, glass-bodied, drinking light through their skin. You cup one in your bare palm. It does not bite. It does not know what you are. This breaks the protocol you memorized for years. Gloves, sealed samples, one-way contact. You know the rules. You feel them loosen in your chest like a held breath finally let go. Because here is the truth the checklists could not hold. You are happy. Fully, dangerously happy. You press your hand to a trunk, and its warmth answers yours. Spores drift down and settle on your skin, in your hair, at the corners of your eyes. You breathe them in without flinching. Something passes between you and this place in that hour. You watch the spores catch in the fine hairs of your arm, dust the backs of your hands, gather at the roots of your lashes, your microbes onto its bark, its microbes into your lungs, your gut, the soft folds of you. Two worlds that evolved apart now share a border, and the border is your body. You cannot feel the smallest part of it, but you can see it gathering on your skin. You walk out of the forest at dusk with a catalogue of wonders and a lightness you have not felt since you woke. That night, over filtered water, you write until your hand aches. You are still smiling when the first cramp turns, low and strange, deep in your gut. You lie on the sick bay cot with a fever you cannot name. Above the small window, the copper star is restless, throwing flares that whiten the sky for minutes at a time. You count your own pulse and write the number down. You have become a specimen you cannot escape. It started small, a softness in your gut, a weariness that sleep would not lift. You told yourself it was the cold sleep still leaving your bones. But the fevers keep a schedule now, and schedules mean cause. So you do what you were trained to do. You chart yourself. On the wall, you tape a grid. Every meal, every sip, every sample handled bare-skinned. You cross the days against the fevers, and slowly a shape rises out of the noise. The worst nights follow the days you eat the ration of dried native fruit you thought was harmless. You run it through the small mass spectrometer. The screen paints a spectrum you have seen before, in the soil, in the river silt. A metal this world carries the way Earth carries iron. Your body has no door for it, no way to send it back out. You cannot prove it yet, but the pattern says you have been storing it, meal by meal, since your first taste. There is a second wound, quieter. You swab yourself and watch the culture plates. The colonies that came with you from Earth, the invisible garden in your gut that turns food into life, are thinning. Something in this world's water, its sugars built the wrong way, has been starving them out. A guess, but the plates all point one way. Your microbiome, 100 trillion allies, collapsing without a single sound. You understand now what the awe was hiding. This is the first betrayal, and it is the one that changes how you see every gift you have taken. This world was quietly editing you in return. Not with malice, with chemistry, with the slow patience of a place that never evolved a shape for you. You stop the fruit. You filter harder. The fevers ease, and for one bright hour you feel triumphant. You have found the poison, and finding it is what keeps you alive. Then the sobering arrives. The metal already banked in your bones does not leave. The garden inside you does not grow back the way it was. Your digestion, your immunity, are rewritten now, permanently, into something between Earth and here. You lie in the flaring light and ask the question that will follow you the rest of your life. How many of this world's gifts are slow poisons wearing the face of kindness? And searching for an answer, for a cure, you begin to suspect this world can heal as surely as it harms. You drive the rover to the coast because the fever left a wound that will not close. A scrape on your forearm from the forest floor has gone yellow at the edges, weeping, warm. Your kit of Earth antibiotics is a finite thing. You have already spent too much of it. The coastal shelf is a shelf of black rock, flooded and drained twice a day by a sea the color of steeped tea. Where the water lingers, a lichen analog clings in slick violet mats, breathing bubbles as the tide pulls back. You have catalogued it before. Sample 114. You never thought to touch it to a wound. Now you do. You are out of careful options. You crush a pinch of the violet mat, mix it with filtered water, and press the paste against the weeping skin. You photograph the wound. You write the time. Your own arm, once more, is the specimen you cannot refuse. By morning, the heat has left the cut. By the third day, the yellow is gone. The edges have knit into a clean pink seam, faster than any healing you have known. You sit on the black rock and laugh once, a strange raw sound, because the world has given something back. A gift on the 6th year, when you needed it most. You are cautious. You test it on a deeper infection in your foot, then on a burn. It works each time. This is real data. Recovery you can measure, photograph, defend. A guess, but the pattern holds. The compound seems to reach the alien microbes the way Earth medicine cannot, precisely because it evolved beside them. So you increase the dose. You want to understand the ceiling. You want to know how much this world will offer. The ceiling has teeth. At higher concentrations, your fingers begin to tremble. A numbness crawls into your lips, your tongue. Your handwriting slants and shrinks across the log. Blood tests hint at accumulation, a heavy patient molecule your kidneys cannot fully clear. You cannot prove it yet, but the pattern points one way. A cumulative neurotoxin, healing and poisoning from the same violet mat. You lower the dose to the exact edge where it mends without harming. You cannot stop taking it. The infections return without it, and Earth's supply is nearly gone. You are now dependent on a medicine only this planet makes. You hold the violet paste in your palm and feel gratitude braided tight with dread. The line between a gift and a trap is not on any map. It is somewhere inside you now, being drawn in your own changing cells. You stand in front of the mirror in the Habitat lab, and you do not entirely recognize the person standing in front of you. The lights are cold and even. The glass is honest. You have lived on this world long enough now that the face looking back has become a stranger you know very well. On the screen beside the mirror, your revival data waits. The scan they took the week you woke. A younger body, an Earth body, its numbers frozen at the moment before this world touched it. You put that ghost beside the living you, and you begin to measure the distance between them. Your skin is darker, thickened at the hands and forearms where the copper star has worked on you for years. Your eyes have narrowed their pupils to a permanent guardedness against the flares. You breathe slower now. Your resting pulse is lower than any human record you can find. The blood panel tells the rest. Trace metals from the water sit in your bones like sediment in a riverbed. Your gut carries organisms no laboratory on Earth has ever named. Your lungs have remodeled their fine architecture to strain this thin foreign chemistry more efficiently than they ever strained home. You chart the drift, line after line, marker after marker, all bending the same direction, all bending toward Kepler 442c. You are, by every measure the scanners can find, the best-fitted human who has ever lived here. You are the only one, and still, the pride is real. Then you read the second column. The thickened skin is scar. The slow pulse is a heart taxed by something it was not built for. The sediment in your bones is poison, patient, and permanent. The wounds are quiet, but they are adding up year over year past any point of undoing. You run the model forward and then you run it backward. Backward toward Earth. The air you left, the food you left, the microbes you no longer carry. The simulation returns a single quiet verdict. You could not survive there now. Not unaltered. The home you were born to would kill the body this world has made. You sit with that for a long time. And then you understand, with a cold and certain clarity, that this is the one measurement Earth most needs to hear. You sit in the comms bay with the door sealed behind you. The transmitter blinks once every 2 seconds, a slow green heartbeat waiting for words. Above the console, a single line of text has held steady for years. Link open. No traffic. The silence on the other end is wider than a lifetime. In front of you is a folder, not paper, light, scrolling on the glass, but you handle it as if it could tear. Inside is everything. The river with no name. The forest that made you sick. The coastal moss that closed a wound Earth's antibiotics could not. The mirror and the face that is slowly becoming this world's. You have been asked one question across all that dark. Can we come? Can the others wake? Can the sleeping thousands still frozen aboard the ships that would follow open their eyes here and live? You know the answer now. You have paid for it in fevers, in a body that no longer keeps its old shape. The air is breathable, and it is also, by degrees too gentle to feel, unmaking you. The food that heals in one season poisons in the next. This world will hold a human being. It will not hold a human being for long. You begin to speak. Your voice sounds strange in the small room, formal, careful. You give them the numbers first, because numbers do not flinch. Partial pressures. Trace metals in your bone scans. The count of years you have actually survived versus the years you were meant to. Then you give them the truth beneath the numbers. That to send the others down is to send them into a slow, beautiful betrayal. That the colony, as dreamed, cannot be. That you are recommending they stay asleep or turn for another star. You understand what this recommendation costs you. If they listen, no one wakes. No footsteps, but yours will ever cross this gravel. The word you are sending is the word that seals your solitude. Forever, and by your own hand. You do not soften it. You owe them the ground truth, and the ground truth is your body. You press send. The green light stutters, then steadies. Somewhere out in the black, a signal is already crossing distances that will outlive you. What is a lifetime of discovery worth to those who may never come? You set the microphone down. You stand. And you walk back out into the copper light of the world that is quietly ending you. You walk slower now. The path you have worn through the forest is your own signature, pressed into the soil over decades. You know every turn without looking. Your boots find the roots by memory. The fronds have gone copper at their tips. This world has seasons, and you have learned to read them the way you once read a calendar. The green-black canopy loosens. Light falls through in coins. You lift your face to it and cough, and the cough tastes of iron. You visit the creature you named Bellwether first. It clings to the underside of a low branch, slow and patient, its skin flickering with the pale signals you spent 11 years learning to read. You record its color. You record the date. Your hand shakes and the pen wanders. The truth is written in your blood tests, and you have stopped needing the machine to tell you. The metals this world gave you, grain by grain, have settled in your bones. The star's flares have written their damage into cells that will not repair. You are ending on the world's schedule, not your own. You feel no anger about it. That surprises you. You expected anger. You kneel beside the pool where the small swimmers gather, the ones you called lanterns for the way they glow when startled. You tap the water, they scatter into light. You laugh, and the laugh becomes another cough, and you sit down in the mud and let it pass. You write final observations in a hand growing smaller each week. The lanterns spawn in the cold months. The bellwethers migrate downslope when the light thins. The tall stalks you never fully named release their spores at the first frost, a slow gold snow. You catch some on your sleeve. You do not brush them away. This place is home now, not a posting, not a mission. Home, the way a body is home to the life inside it. You have lived here, briefly, completely, and the world has taken its full price. At night you lie awake and wonder which of you was the discovery. You came to catalogue a world. Instead, the world catalogued you. Learned, patiently, exactly what a human costs, and charged it. One clear morning, you wake and know your work here is done. You gather nothing. You leave the station standing. You point yourself toward the one place you have never stopped returning to in your mind. You walk back toward the ramp where you first cracked your helmet and tasted an alien sky. You return to the ramp because it is the one place that has not changed in shape, only in cover. The lander stands where it landed, tilted, its metal gone dull and freckled with growth. Copper vines have climbed the struts. The hatch you first stepped through is a mouth of shadow now, breathing out cold air. You walk up the ramp the way you walked down it once, a lifetime ago. Your knees are slower. Your hands find the rail by memory. The same swollen orange sun hangs low over the tree line, enormous and patient, throwing the long shadow of the lander across the clearing like a sundial that has told your whole life. This is where you cracked your helmet. You remember the hiss, the first taste. Wet mineral, faint sweetness, a cold that went all the way to the back of your skull. You remember thinking, no human has tasted this. You were right. No human ever will again. You lie back on the ramp. The metal is warm from the day. You do not carry a helmet anymore. You have not for years. You breathe the air freely, all of it, the way this world breathes it, and your lungs take the same reading they took on the first hour. Only now, your body knows the answer it did not know then. You are the ground truth. Everything Earth believes about this place, it believes because of one body, lying on one ramp, under one dwarf star. The catalogue is not on a drive. It is in you, in the scarred forearm that healed with coastal salt, in the blood that learned this water, in the cells that took the poison slowly enough to call it home. You were first. You understand now that first and alone were always the same word. There was awe in it. There was a cost you paid in decades, quietly, a little each year. Fitting was never the same as surviving. You did both, for a while. That was enough. The fronds lean over you, green-black against the deepening sky. Small things move in the copper light, indifferent and alive. You let your eyes close. You let the world take its last reading. Whatever you were made of on Earth will stay here now. Become soil, become root, become part of the catalogue you kept. Can a human ever truly adapt to a world that did not make us? Or can we only, briefly, belong? You do not know. You only know that you belonged. The rust-red sun touches the trees. The first entry and the last are the same breath. The catalogue closes.